Hello, my name is Hakon, and welcome back, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, for yet another exciting episode of Creature of Havoc, Book 24 in the Fighting Fantasy series, and also one that infamously has an error. Now, last time I found out exactly what that error was, mostly by trial and error, I suppose. I could have looked it up before I even started, but I just felt I had to exhaust all possibilities before I actually looked for it, and I realized that the thing is, there is a secret passage you are meant to find, that you need to find. It is the only way onwards, but it is not referenced in the correct way that lets you pick up on the clue. So, in any case, because you were told that you are looking for the text you find yourself at the beginning of a paragraph that was the clue, and then you would add 20 to the paragraph number, but the paragraph didn't start with that, and I think that is an editorial error that was corrected in the Wizard editions, and it was returned back to what it used to be in the original in the Scholastic editions, because of course any editorial changes done by Wizard belong to Wizard, and of course they wouldn't possibly even know about them in Scholastic, because yeah, why would they? So I left it off, just having found finally the right way through after finding all the dead ends last time. So the story so far. So you are in Creature of Havoc. You are not the hero in the normal sense. You are a monster. You are the result, presumably, of an experiment in a dark art known as Maranga, which is a way to create hybrid creatures in order. And of course, the idea is that this is done by evil witches and sorcerers in an attempt to create super creatures that are powerful in battle, that will give you power and allow you to kill others and invade others' lands as using them as soldiers, etc., etc. That's the idea, and this is known as Maranga. Um, in this book, it seems it isn't stated anywhere, but you can deduce that you are a result of Maranga. You suddenly awake as this new creature, and you don't have free will, you don't know where you are, what you're doing, what things around you are. You do have some residual memories of the past, which may come from the two bodies that have been spliced together in some way to create you, but not enough to really sort of get to grips with reality so much right away. All you know very quickly is that you are really strong and a formidable fighter, and you sort of relatively soon you learn what things are. Now, there is part of the backstory, which of course is a 20-page compendium almost in this book, which is some of the core stories. That's the mail arriving. Some of the core stories that I think were used in Trolltooth Wars. Yes, which was the fighting fantasy novel that I presume is based around some of the same lore and some of the same world building things. And part of those stories is of Jaradan Ma, of course, one of the E3 evil wizards, evil sorcerers, warlocks of the fighting fantasy world, together with Azegor and I keep forgetting the last one's name. Anyway, not important. Jaradan Ma is the one in this story, and how he tried to steal the 3 vapors from the elves. I think I'm not going to retell the whole story of the vapors, because it seems it's a bit hard to explain it properly in short terms. If you go to any of my previous videos, apart from the previous one, but any of the first few episodes of this series of playthroughs playing Creature of Havoc, and you look at the introduction, which is the bit that is in where I got my own picture in black and white, there's a half-an-hour introduction there which tells you some of the backstory and some things that may be relevant to understanding what's going on in Creature of Havoc. And you watch that and you come back to this video, and then you will know what's going on. I don't want to paste it into all my videos now. It gets a bit much, I think. So So there is that backstory and the three vapors, and in the Creature of Havoc, right quite early on, you actually find the first vapor, which is the vapor of reason. And this tells you two things. First of all, you get free will, of course. Secondly, you know that this is where the vapors are and somebody's trying to get them out. And that means that you are in Jaradan Mar's maze, in his dungeon, in his mines. In fact, there is a paragraph, one of the paragraphs where you die, where you're actually told that you're in Jaradan Mar's mines. I'm not sure if you're supposed to know that. Because that's the first time you actually hear of Jaradan Mar. So you wouldn't know that. So that's a sort of a narrative slip, I think. So you find the vapor of reason, which means you now have free will. Before that, you had to roll dice for what to do. Go west, east, roll a die. So when you get free will, you can make your own choices. Not always, but most of the time. And you also very quickly bump into another set of adventurers. There are several parties of adventurers, very Dungeons and Dragons-like parties, who are there to get the vapors from Jaradan Mar and bring them back to the elves. So they're on the mission, of course, they're doing a dungeon crawl, Dungeons and Dragons style, trying to get these things from the evil wizard and bring them back out again safely and surviving. But then they meet you and you kill some of them. And from one of them you pick up an amulet, and this is a very pivotal item in the book because this is the one that lets you find secret passages. So it lets you find a secret passage, a secret room where you find a shield that gives you better combat strength, and also it helps you bash down doors. And it also is the amulet that then leads you onwards from one of the many dead ends, which is where we ended last time. In addition to that, you have also picked up a piece of leather which has some writing on it, and you don't know what that writing means. But it's something that you're given the reference to go back to and have a look at it. And so I presume at some point, one of the vapors that we know about exist with our three vapors. There's reason, there's language, and there's magic. So we've got reason already. We're looking for language, and magic, of course, is the bone of contention. That is what Jaradan Mar was really after when he stole the vapors from the elves. He wanted to get the divine power of magic from the vapor so that he could use it for his own evil magic and become the most powerful wizard in existence. And so there we are. That's the story so far. And so we have found ourselves at different dead ends, and eventually we found a way through thanks to the amulet, and that's where we're starting today. And I'll be right there with you on my desk getting ready to keep going. So yes, let's get started. Right, here we are on my desk. Got my supplies, got my map, got my character sheet back here, got my book, pens, pencil, dice, and I finished my cup of tea. So yeah, oh well, these things happen. Right, so last time I ended up with, this is the third sheet of my map now. So I've been through the first few ones. So hang on, that's something else. That is, yeah, this is actually the writing systems. I've got 4 different varieties of writing for my new conlang that I'm working on for my gamebook writing project. It just happens to end up in the same pile there. Right, so let's get started. So I'm going to 369, that's where I will continue. Maybe I should do it from the one before. So let's go to 213. This is the dead end. So you get to a dead end. You reach a dead end. The light is dim and it is difficult to see. So you grope around for a possible way onwards. There is none to be found. You turn around and return to the crossroads. Will you now continue north or east? This is where you were supposed to use the amulet, but this is not how the text does not trigger it. So you have to figure that out on your own. It is most likely an error. While you are groping around the end of the passageway, you suddenly notice a slight humming coming from your pendant. It is vibrating, and as you move towards one particular spot, the vibration becomes stronger. You grasp the talisman and watch as the blue stone begins to glow. Finally, a beam of blue light shoots from the pendant and lights up an area of rocky wall. You feel around the area and your hand comes to rest on a small hidden catch. When you flick the catch, the dead end before you comes to life. Smoke hisses from the crevices around the wall, forcing you to step away from it. When the smoke clears, a gap has appeared in the rock face. An eerie green light lights up a narrow passage beyond. Will you step through and explore the secret passage? Yes, I will. 369. Now it's getting a bit dark actually outside, which is unusual. I just need to let in a little bit more light now, just to get even exposure of my green screen, just a little bit. Okay. You step into the passage and your eyes adjust to the green light. You breathe cautiously as you progress, but it seems that the smoke is not harmful, though it smells a little pungent. The passage leads, after only a few paces, to impenetrable blackness. Not even the green light is penetrating the dark. Your eyes strain to see anything of the surroundings, but without success. Suddenly a light flickers to your left. A small flame lights up something. It is a human face. The face is motionless and its eyes are closed. The skin is old and withered, and you cannot tell whether it is alive or dead. Another light flickers. Another somber face lights up before you, and another. Eventually there are 4 faces, all dimly lit, around the chamber. An instant later their eyes and mouths flick open wide, and the silence is broken by a sharp voice which cuts through the darkness. The effect is terrifying. I'm not going to read the gibberish one because it's so hard to read. It would have been so much nicer if the gibberish writing was actually readable, if it actually consisted of syllables rather than just random consonants mostly. As the voice ceases, a rumbling sound comes from ahead of you. The same green light indicates another secret passageway, which the voice evidently wishes you to take. Will you leave through the new passage, or will you step up to one of the illuminated faces and crush it in your hand? Right, I think we'll leave in this case. So 247, crush, or 79, leave. You rush across to the secret entrance and find yourself bathed once more in the eerie green light. The instant you step into the passageway, the door slams shut behind you, and this is much to your relief, as you were anxious to leave the mysterious room. The passage continues in a westerly direction until you arrive at a junction. Oh, sun is back. Excuse me. There we are. A sign is tacked to the wall and an arrow on it points westwards. There is a message on the sign which reads Ifulp West. Oh, hang on. WST West. The other passage leads to the south. A few paces down it is a small pile of bones, or rather a pile of small bones. They look like human bones, but from a creature much smaller than a human. You must now decide which way to continue. Will it head west or south? So, it's going to do like that. So we have 142 west, which is where the sign points, 273 south. South generally seems to be a bad direction to go because you seem generally to be moving sort of northwards. So 142. I'm going to go to 142. You seem to be directed a little bit. Hang on. Am I going in the circle now? Because did I write down the number right? I've been there before, haven't I? 142. Hang on. Because 142 leads to a bridge, just like the one I've been on before. Or is it just a different one this time? Okay, well, we'll find out, won't we? So, heading west, 142. So, okay, so a foul smell wafts along the passage and seems to get stronger as you continue. The air becomes cool and moist, and you eventually hear the splashings of flowing water. So it's a river again. The glowstones light up the way ahead, and you can see that the passage turns into a narrow arch of rock stretching across a wide chasm. A murky river runs through the chasm, and it is this river that is responsible for the stink which fills the area. The bridge is so narrow that for a creature of your bulk, the crossing will be extremely hazardous, but there is no other way onwards. You step onto the near side of the bridge, test your luck. Okay, so this just feels like deja vu here, that I've been exactly this place before, and it's a bit strange how you do. We've seen this river at least twice now, and it's a bit strange how you describe it as if it's the first time, because I don't think you can get to this place without having crossed the river before. So it should have been referencing the river as you've seen this river before, shouldn't it? It's a bit weird. Anyway, testing my luck, I roll 9, which means I'm lucky, and I go down to 10. I'm lucky, go to 221. Let's see, so hang on, so let's test luck, and which means we have 221 lucky, or what was the other one again? That was 193 is unlucky. Okay, 221. You cautiously make your way across to the far side of the bridge, where, with a great sigh of relief, you step onto safe ground again. You rest for a few moments and then turn west to continue, but your eye catches sight of footprints which seem to head not towards the bridge, but to the edge of the ledge you are now standing on. Looking more closely, you can see that just over the edge, a series of rocks protrude from the side of the chasm as rough stairs. They lead down to a hole in the cliff. If you wish to climb down the steps, the going will be perilous, as they are narrow and there is nothing to hold on to. Otherwise, the westward passage leads you on for a few paces to a strong wooden door with iron fastenings. Would you attempt to force your way through the door, or would you like to investigate the steps leading down to the hole in the side of the chasm? I suppose I'll check out the door in that case. So, 4, 2, 5, door, or 3, 1, 3 steps. 4, 2, 5. Let's see. The door is decorated with plates and symbols forged in metal. In the center is a sign which reads Ifl, etc. The door is locked, so you decide to try breaking it down. You give it a hard shove with your shoulder. It shudders but does not budge. Indignant, you hit it again, but still it will not open. Lose 1 stamina point, and of course our shield now, the one we have, is good for bashing in doors, and when you have it, you get both 2 extra skill, but also you don't take 1 point damage when that is the damage you get from breaking down a door. So before you can decide whether or not to try again, a rustling of keys in the lock is followed by a creaking noise as the door opens. A thin, dark face appears at the door and looks at you. Etc. Yeah, gibberish. The black elf irritates you with his arrogant manner. You do not want to waste time with him. You grunt and smack your fist into the door, knocking it wide open. It clangs into the wall behind, and the black elf's jaw drops open. The room inside is sparse. There is a table and chair against one wall, and on the table stands a plate with some food on it and a bottle of drink. Behind the table, 2 bunches of keys are hanging on the wall. An archway leads from the room into the blackness beyond. You step inside and the black elf pounces. You must fight him. Excuse me. So, I've got 1423 for the purposes of fighting because of my shield, and also I had another item as well. I had a plate that gave me +2 and -1 skill. So +2 attack skill, but -2 normal skill. That's yeah. Which means I have 14 for the purposes of fighting and 10 skill for other purposes, if there are indeed such. Okay, so Black Elf 7/6. I've got 7 skill point advantage. So he rolls 6, which means I can't lose, but I'm rolling anyway because I could kill him. And then he rolls 3 and I roll 6. After 2 attack rounds, turn to 275, it says, and I haven't killed him yet, so I'm going to go to $275. The Black Elf realizes he is no match for your strength, and he suddenly pulls from his pocket a small whistle, which he puts to his lips and blows. The shrill sound can barely be heard, and you take advantage of the elf's distraction to grab him in your claws. But before you can choke the life out of him, the signal is answered, and the larger creature steps through the archway. This creature is covered in heavy armor. Vicious spikes jut out from each joint, and a large, dark-eyed helmet reaches down to its shoulders. It carries a two-handed axe, which it now raises to do battle. You must ignore the Black Elf and instead turn to face this Chaos Warrior, which only has a skill of 9 and a stamina of 8. That's quite a wimpy Chaos Warrior. 9/8. So I've got a 5 skill point advantage. He rolls 7, I roll 5. So that's 1 hit. 7 and 6, 2 hits. 2 and 5, 3 hits. 6 and 9, 4 hits, and he is dead. If you defeat the creature, turn to 256. So let's see, 9, 8, and then we go to 256. Breathing heavily, you rise to your feet and stand over the body of the Chaos Warrior. Your attention turns to the Black Elf, who is once more blowing his whistle for reinforcements. Instantly, another Chaos Warrior appears in the doorway ready for battle. You must resolve your fight with him. Okay. How long will this go on anyway? How many Chaos Warriors does he have in... Okay, so... 8, 7, yeah, so... It's 7. Okay, so I've got a 6 skill point advantage to start with. So he rolls 6, I roll 7, 1 hit, 11, 8. That is me still hitting him. 2 hits, 9, 5, 3 hits, 7, and he's dead because I rolled doubles. That's my special ability. I just kill instantly when I roll doubles with my big claws. And so he is dead, and I go to 39. 39. No sooner have you dealt the final death blow than another Chaos Warrior appears at the archway. Resolve your combat with this creature. 9, 7, okay. And so it goes on. So that is 5 skill point advantage. He rolls 8, I roll 9, 3, 9, 6, 11, 4, 7. Yeah, that's him. If you defeat the warrior, turn to 397. Is there some kind of test, I wonder? As the defeated warrior slumps dead to the ground, another steps through the archway. Okay. It's getting a little bit samey, isn't it? 7, 8. So this is 7 skill point advantage. 8, 6, 9, 4, 8, 6, 11, 9. That's him gone. 46. The hope fades as another Chaos Warrior raises his weapon and advances to do battle. 8, 8. Okay. 6 skill point advantage. 8, 11, 7, 6, 2, 8, and 11, 7. Yes, that is him dead as well. 39. I'm going to 39. No sooner have you dealt the final death blow than another Chaos Warrior appears at the archway. This is an infinite cycle 9, 7. It looks like this because now I'm going back to 397, which means I'm going to be fighting these forever and ever. So this is a loop of infinite Chaos Warriors, which is kind of cool in a way, and a kind of a, yeah, kind of an evil way. Okay, that means that this is definitely not the right thing to do, and which means that I need to go back to where I was before and make a different choice, because this can't be the right thing to do. 313. So go back to 221, just to, that was after we walked across the bridge. So then I got the question to investigate the door. That's where you go in here and you fight endless Chaos Warriors, or you off the side of the chasm, 313. You lower yourself over the edge and onto the first step. You sway a little, but gradually you become accustomed to the awkward position and you take the next step downwards. Once your head is below the level of the ledge, you find you are able to lean against the side of the chasm for balance, and you take the next few steps easily. However, the next step is smaller than the others and is slightly further away. This will be dangerous. But the thing is, if it is far away, why don't you just, I mean, how can it be further away and smaller at the same time? Because the only way a step can be smaller is if it's also further away if it is bigger. Anyway. Test luck. Yeah, lucky. Okay, so we have test luck, and then we go to 3, 3, 8 unlucky, or 65 lucky. So I am lucky, go to 65. No, that's not the right one, luckily. You manage to keep your balance all the way down the rock face until you reach the hole. As you step into the hole, your feet once again touch solid ground. Your left foot bangs against something straight and solid. When you bend down to investigate, you find a long length of straight metal about as wide as your hand, which runs deep into the hole. Another identical length runs alongside the first, and the two are held a short distance apart by a series of blocks of wood. It's hard to see where they lead. So, okay. Rails. The railway. It's hard to see where they lead, and you enter the tunnel. No glowstones light the way here, so you follow the tracks into darkness. A short distance ahead, you reach a fork. Would you follow the tracks to the left, or would you enter the tunnel on the right? So, we have, let's see, so that's 4, 2, 4, right, or 182 tracks. So I'm going to check out the tunnel 424. You follow the passage until it becomes impossible for you to see in the total darkness. Now you must grope your way along, feeling the walls with both hands. Eventually, a faint red glow appears on the left-hand side of the passageway, and you realize you are at another fork. To the left, the way seems to lead to some kind of light source. To the right, the passage is still pitch black. Would you choose the right-hand passage or the left-hand passage? Okay. This is where one probably should get the option of going back, I think. But yeah. So 108 right, or 182 left. I want to check out the one on the right. After following the tunnel for some time, you begin to hear clinking noises and voices from somewhere ahead. You round a corner and enter a large chamber lit by the flickering light of many torches, where creatures of all sizes and shapes are swinging implements at the rock face. The hard work is watched by several large, heavily armored guards who brandish long bullwhips, and any pauses in the work are rewarded by painful slashes from these whips. The creatures at work seem to be digging out the rock face and loading it into trucks. The trucks are then pushed along the tracks you have found by other minions. Yeah, will you try to creep through the chamber, keeping out of sight of the guards, or will you step behind one of the trucks and see where it is to be pushed to? So this is the working end of the mine, I suppose. Right, so So 94 truck or 78 out of sight. Now, of course, I'm not sure it's. I mean, following the tracks to wherever the ore is sent to could be a bit risky because it would be some kind of smelting area, I suppose. I'm just going to try to sneak past 78, even though I don't have much luck left now. You watch each guard in turn and wait until they are preoccupied with whipping the miserable creatures when you are able to move slowly across the vast chamber unnoticed. But as luck would have it, a small creature turns a corner round the rock and bumps straight into you. You both jump in surprise. But then your lips curl back and a delighted growl comes from your throat. Your tongue licks lustily round your mouth as you grab the unfortunate hobbit that has walked straight into your clutches. Its screams are quickly silenced, but not before the guards are aware of your appearance in the mine. They surround you, brandishing their bullwhips, and you are trapped. The penalty for you is not death, though some would consider death more merciful. Killing you would be a wasted opportunity. You are much more useful, spending the rest of your life toiling as a slave in the mines of Jaradan Ma. Okay, so that is the end. Let's see. Where is my red? There it is, my red pen. So do not do that. So of course we're going to go back one step now, and as per usual, fighting fantasy rules, finger bookmark principle, and I'm going to get behind the truck and see where that is being pushed to, the minecart, I should rather say. Although, of course, that's going to be a dead end as well, isn't it? You creep up behind one of the trucks and join a team of creatures who are pushing it. Suddenly, a guard with a bullwhip taps you on the shoulder. You suspect trouble and tense yourself for battle. But the guard has not spotted you as an imposter. He is simply motioning for you to leave the truck you are pushing and move over to another one, which has to be pushed in a different direction. You shuffle over to the truck. A rather emaciated troll is your only partner. You and the troll, coaxed by a guard who is clearly waiting for an excuse to use his bullwhip, push the truck through the cavern, along a tunnel, past a side tunnel to the left, and towards an opening. Light enters the tunnel through the opening. But just as you reach the opening, the long-suffering troll collapses. The effort has been too much for him. The guard seizes his opportunity and his bullwhip flashes. Although this has no effect on the unconscious troll, the sting of the whip certainly has an effect on you. Your fury turns to pain and fear, and one thought is prominent in your mind. You must keep pushing the truck. You shove it with such force that it launches itself through the opening and out into mid-air. For an instant you recognize the ledge and the steps down which you entered the mines, but only for an instant, since your momentum has carried you after the truck. You look down at the filthy bilge water below. In a few seconds you will be entering its depths at a speed which will ensure your death on impact. So, again, that is not the right thing to do. So, let's backtrack one more time, and we are going to follow the tracks and go right. Because it's way too soon to finish now, isn't it? I mean, half an hour, that's too short a video for this. So, you must stoop to... Oh, hang on, this is another one. Okay, so this is going to be quite full of Deathstun. You must stoop to enter this tunnel, and you inch forward, feeling the walls ahead with your hand. So, okay, so am I going to get... Am I at the dead end again, or is... Yeah, okay, obviously that means all of this is just an elaborate dead end. All of this section here. Steve Jackson likes doing that. He did it in House of Hell as well. I'll just read this one out. You must stoop to enter this tunnel, and you inch forward, feeling the walls ahead with your hands. The ground underfoot is becoming wet, and each footstep comes down with a splash. Then you lose your footing and slip down a muddy slide, until eventually you land up to your chest in what feels to be a pool of thick mud. You try in vain to drag yourself from the pool. The movement is almost imperceptible at first, but without doubt something smooth and slimy is working its way up your body. And as more of the mud seems to join in the flow, you realize that this creature is very large. Finally, the muddy surface breaks and a jelly-like blob is crawling up your chest and neck, drawing the mud behind it. You try to slash it with your claws to keep it away from your face, but your hands pass through the creature as if they were passing through the mud itself. It reaches your mouth and nose and flows deep down your throat and up your nostrils. You cough and splutter, trying desperately to take gulps of air, but it is hopeless. The mud slime whose lair you have fallen into cannot be defeated. With your bare hands, it kills its prey by suffocation. When your breath runs out and you slide deep down into the mud pool, it will digest your body at its leisure. Yes. Again, that is all this dead end, dead end, dead end, dead end, and we have to go back one more step, and that is turning right at the previous junction. Oh, I'm not counting deaths this time. I should have done. There are more deaths in this one than Trial of Champions, I think. You follow the passage until it becomes impossible for you to see in the total darkness. Now you must grope your way along. Oh, hang on. Oh, that's the one I've... Okay, actually, that's not the right mapping there, because that is the one that leads there, which means that all of this whole section there is... Which means that all of this section is actually a dead end. Which means all of this section is a dead end. Which means that the only way onwards now is... Well, there's another option down there, which probably leads to death as well. Which means that the only way forward now is this. Right, so I'm going to go to 273 now, which looks to be the only way onwards. All this bit going west now was a dead end. So I'm going to go and see if the way south actually leads me somewhere better. You step up to the bones. Okay, so now remember that I'll just go back to the one before, actually. So this is where you leave those faces that said something that you couldn't understand. So you rush across to the secret entrance and find yourself bathed once more in the eerie green light the instant you step into the passageway. The door slams shut behind you, and this is much to your relief, as you were anxious to leave the mysterious room. The passage continues in a westerly direction until you arrive at a junction. A sign is tacked to the wall, and an arrow on it points westwards. There is a message on the sign which reads, "Ifel West Punf News." It just should be. MJNFS means mines. Possibly. The other passage leads to the south. A few paces down, it is a small pile of bones, or rather a pile of small bones. Just wondering now, because maybe there's a way to actually decipher this gibberish language, because I think some of the letters actually are the correct ones, and others have been changed. Anyway, I'll look at that later. They look like human bones, but from pretty much smaller. Yeah, okay. Then we start now decide which way to continue. Will you head west or south? So, okay, south is the only way. All that happens by going west is either fighting infinite chaos monsters or otherwise dying. So I'm going to have to go south to 7-3. You step up to the bones and sniff them. A shiver of excitement runs through you. Hobbit bones. In eager anticipation, you follow the passage south until it reaches a point where it turns to the east. You sniff for the scent of hobbit and can smell something faintly in the air. At the next corner, the passage turns north. Further on, it turns west. The smell of hobbit is now getting stronger, and you eagerly follow the passageway round a corner to the south. You reach another pile of bones on the ground. You stop to look, but these are not hobbit bones. These are the bones of something much larger, perhaps a human or even a hobgoblin. The passage ahead turns to the east. Will you follow it, or would you prefer to go back? This feels like another dead end now, doesn't it? Or a trap. Okay, so we either we go back, which is 227, or we follow it, which is 356. I can't be turning back now, can I? 356, because that's all dead ends. Oh, that's a long one. You follow the corridor around the bend to the east, then round another to the north. The smell is getting stronger, but there are now other aromas in the air. The passage turns west next, and a short distance further on, you step at a corner where it turns to the south. The smells in the air are now quite strong, and there are sounds coming from round the corner. You cautiously poke your head round to see what is going on. The passage ends a short distance ahead. Bones are strewn about the place. Some have remnants of flesh left on them, but not for long. Standing in the center of the passageway, feasting noisily on the remains, are 3 carrion bugs. They are huge black beetles with formidable heads in the shape of death's head skulls. The creatures' heads are armed with razor-sharp mandibles, which can strip muscle cleanly from a bone in an instant. You are considering whether or not to turn round and retrace your steps when your eyes fall on an unmistakable shape, the decaying corpse of a hobbit. Your eyes widen and your dry mouth becomes moist. Thoughts of retracing your steps fade. You surge through the carrion bugs to your meal. They ignore you until you grab the hobbit, but then they turn towards you. They will not allow you to steal their meal. You must fight the carrion bugs all together. If you wish to escape during the battle, you may do so by turning to 240, but only after at least 3 attack rounds. Okay, so escape is possible. We have 7, 6, 6, 8, 5, and 7, 5. Escape is possible to 240. That's escape, or 375 is winning. Okay, so let's get this battle rolling. We have 7, 6, 8, 5, and 7, 5. Let's start with the 8, 5, shall we? So I've got a 6 skill point advantage. He rolls 7, I roll 7. Okay. Down to 3. The others are attacking me. I've got a 7 skill point advantage. They roll 5 versus 12. 6 versus 10. So I protect myself and I don't kill them, because even though I roll doubles, because I'm not actually attacking them. Second round, he rolls 4. I roll 9. Why are they the only ones rolling doubles? And then 5, 10, 9, 7. I managed to survive that round as well. The next round, he rolls 9. I roll 4. Okay, so he is dead, would have been dead regardless. The other ones, 6, 8, 8, 5. I defend myself. Next, I attack the 7, 6. 7 skill point advantage. He rolls 7. I roll 10. He is dead. Second one rolls 2. I roll 12. I protect myself. Then it's just 1 left. 7 advantage. 6, 8, and he is also dead. Okay, that was a lot of doubles rolling there, mostly for the others. So that is that battle done, and 375. With the Carrion Bugs dead, your thoughts revert to the tasty hobbit. You pick up the rigid body, excuse me, and sink your teeth into its stomach area. Although irresistible, the taste is not too pleasant, as the body has been dead for some time. Nevertheless, you eat heartily and you may gain 4 stamina points for the meal. So that's plus 4 stamina. Then you follow the passage north and later east. As you turn the next corner, your heart sinks. Another of the creatures is arriving for its meal. To get past, you will have to defeat the bug. So that is a 7/6 Carrion Bug. 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 7. It's dead. If you defeat it, go to 227. So I'm just going to put that up there to 27. You follow the passage back to the junction and turn. Oh. You can only. But. I can only go back to 142, which has the infinite dead ends. Is there something I've been missing again now? Because it seemed that there were absolutely no way to get past these things. Huh. Now I'm a bit stumped because this was the only way onwards I knew about, and it looks like it's completely full of dead ends again. That also leads back to 42. I don't know what to do now. Where to go? Okay, so again, I'll have to see if I can figure out what am I missing? Where am I supposed to be going now? I have absolutely no idea. But there must be something somewhere I've missed that is going to lead me to where I'm supposed to be now. I can see why some people give up on this book and find a walkthrough, because there are certain aspects of this now that gets a little bit confusing, and you end up moving in circles. And well, somebody wanted to make this a really hard book to beat. So, right, so that means that basically I'm now going to have to take the time to find out what I have missed, because there must have been something else somewhere that I missed that will allow me to move on. Because this just brings me back to endless chaos warriors, or into the mines there, where I just get killed regardless of what I do. Right, so at the moment I am officially stumped. I'll have to study my map and see if I can figure out if there are any options that I've missed that are the ones I should have taken. So, right, there we go. That's it for today. I'm sorry this is a bit of a short episode, but I think you'd rather prefer it to be short than watch me for an hour trying to figure out what I've been missing now. So, okay, thanks for watching. I'm sorry this was a little bit of a confusing episode. and of course I share your confusion because I have no idea where I'm going to go next now. That's all a bit of fun, isn't it? It's a puzzle. Let's see if we can solve the puzzle. Okay, goodbye for now. Bye-bye.